It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hello, good afternoon, 27th of June 2019. Minute past 2 p.m. CT, Piotr here, and this is the live New York Open live market coverage on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. And today we are awaiting US GDP final reading. Just got information about the German preliminary CPU, harmonized as expected. But the German CPI month June 0.3, estimation 0.2, year June 1.6, estimation 1.4, and we do have euro dollar a little bit higher. But before we will jump and check the charts, let's have a look and check risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading effects on margin. Trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors who can sustain a loss of some or real initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Good afternoon, Mer. How are you doing? Hopefully you're good. So it's a little bit shorter meeting today. It's related to the GDP. I think it might be used as a good excuse in case it's needed. All right. Otherwise, flow dedicated to the first half of the year, end of the second quarter, end of the month will dominate today, tomorrow. So guys, really be careful. Some actions may not be related to the chart as simply as that. No stop speedy disclaimer. So the price action might be more related to the rebalancing of the portfolio of some guys. So we are going to focus on the euro dollar, we are going to focus on pound USD and dollar yen today, as well as we are going to monitor what is going on indices. In that case, we were checking CAC around this morning. Actually, everything is working fine for now from the bear's perspective. Let's have a look. We are going to have Nasdaq here. All right, that's a little bit better. So that's the main points of today's meeting. We can start with dollar yen. Actually, we hit that supply we discussed this this morning and yesterday, right? I'm sorry, we hit this supply based on that particular range created right around US cash open 18th of June, right? So we hit that supply, right? I think that some more stops might be in play, right? So I would like to see, right now it's around 30 pips, so there was quite good pullback already. I missed that short, to be honest with you, but in any case, we'll see if there is any stop hunt, stop run after the GDP. Then I may try to take the advantage of the shorts here. We'll watch and we'll see what's going on here. Basically, the higher time frame might be in play, or it's going to be in play here as well. So overall, from the daily chart perspective, we also have a supply base on the range, the whole range we've seen on the 14th of June, right? From the euro dollar perspective, good thing is that the bulls were able to get back above weekly open, right? Nothing extraordinary, even with this preliminary German CPI right now, at least right now. Pound trying to recover, and pound is, we discussed, if you remember, yesterday, today, something above 27.45. It might be case for this over here. Okay, and we are going to discuss dollar index in a second. Just briefly, was thinking to go through this majors. So we will switch to the dollar index in a second. That's the weekly chart of the dollar index, and it doesn't look good. Of course, it does not look good, that's for sure. Now the thing is that based on what we discussed, based on the latest trend line, previous week the trend line been broken, right? So there was an outside week, I would say, outside week based on what we've seen 2 weeks ago, all right? So right now, trying to retest the broken trend line. Trying to retest the broken trend line. That might be the name of the game for from the bear's perspective, right? And the possible supply is based on the range created on the week from 13th of May over here. So we are going to place the supply based on the weekly chart. We are going to remove this line over here. So we are talking about the range created in the mid-May. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, thank you, Mayor. I don't know what happened. Actually, I know. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Anyway, that's the weekly chart. So one more time, quickly. So that's the weekly chart of the dollar index. What happened last week? It was huge outside week. So there was two things. Outside week, so based on the price action, comparing what happened last week to what we seen 2 weeks ago. So we were higher than what happened 2 weeks ago, and we finished lower, right? So that's the outside week. Plus we broke through the trend line. We broke through the trend line, all right? So right now, bears, what the bears are looking for, bears will wait for any attempt to rally with sell off. Now where might be possible supply, and the one is here based on what we've seen on the week in the mid of the May, start 13th of May, right over here. So it's a similar situation to what we discussed in many other cases, right? Then going a little bit lower, there are gonna be few here. That's a little bit of the problem. It might be a little bit of the problem, in my opinion, from buyer's perspective. So the bulls are gonna to have hard times here on the dollar index. And we have one more. I think the most important is the highest one, because it's related to the one here where we hit some new high compared to what we've seen on the left side. But today we reacted on the low from the week ending late September 2000, late March 2019. So plenty of things. If the bulls are thinking that they can manage higher prices, so the crucial level, what is needed for bulls to rebuild the momentum is to move and weekly close above 97.35. That's in my opinion, that's like 97.40. That might be the key from the weekly chart perspective, right? So for now, from this weekly chart, because of this outside week, any attempt to rally, that might be from the bear's perspective some kind of the selling opportunity, right? But I want to show you something different. I want to show you even higher time frame. So just 1 second. That was the weekly. That was the weekly. Okay, now let's have a look. 3 months chart. Well, and it's a little bit different. Here from really high time frame perspective. It looks a little bit different. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to look closer, and yeah, we discussed it once, this chart. I need a bit of water, sorry. All right. So what's important, that actually before the end of the day tomorrow, I'm not sure if it's visible. Because look at what we had at the very first 3 months. There was some kind of the lower shadow. Then over the course of this quarter, we had some kind of the upper shadow. And we are around the yearly open, right? That's the one thing. The second thing is here, from the bull's perspective, there is a little bit of the light in the tunnel. Again, higher time frame, so these guys, they got a lot of time. But what I'm talking about this big candle last quarter of 2016. But I need a little bit bolder shadows. But anyway, thank you for advice. Thank you, Mer. Anyway, what I'm talking about here is the last quarter of 2016, right? Then, why it's so important? Because there was the reaction to what we've seen before 2000. It's a long story, right? But anyway, what I'm trying to explain here, the way of thinking, how it may eventually work from the bull's perspective from higher time frame, that after what happened here, there was a strong sell-off, right? But this strong sell-off was stopped at the place where we saw the weakness last time. So we saw a little bit of dollar rally. Now, in case of the dollar sell-off, continuation of the dollar sell-off, right? Actually, we should, from the bear's perspective, we should stopped below 95.40, right? But then for a half year, so 2-3 months candle, we had a close above that one. I don't know, the way of my thinking here is that after move back, we activated the demand from here, we activated the old demand from here, so currently we do have just pullback, right? Now that's why I'm trying to explain that what's going to happen over the next few hours today and the whole day tomorrow might be the key. Why? Why it might be the key? Because bulls, buyers, they wanna hold above 95.40. That big range. All right. On the other hand, the sellers, of course, wanna push lower below 95.40. So in that case, we will renew possibility of continuation to the downside in that case. So very interesting story from the higher time frame perspective here on the dollar index, and definitely, in my opinion, it's worth to watch what is going on here and what they are going to, how they are going to end up tomorrow, where we are going to see the last tick of the quarter, right? All right, so let's get back to the platform. We still have 10 minutes to go.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
So we know that the both sides, bulls and bears, of course depends on the time frame, they got the arguments in hand. So it might be, from the dollar perspective, it might be very, very, very interesting next 24 to 36 hours. Okay. So in both cases, euro dollar and pound USD, I'm going to look to sell euro dollar on the rally towards 1405, 1420, because if you remember what we were discussing based on the higher time frame from monthly chart, we had this price action this week, but we haven't hit exactly the levels, or we haven't been hunting for more stops. And I think it might happen today, right? So we just almost hit to the peep, right? But still missed 3 or 4. We made the measure as far as I remember. So I'm looking for euro dollar here. There is also the possibility that because of what we've seen yesterday, right, that we are here, there are some stops to the upside, so I do believe that, yeah, what we might see after the data, there will be some kind of the stop hunt, especially that we are not far away, right? 1370. So I think if we manage to clean this 90.95, so then we should see 05.20. If there are going to be possibility, right, to join the long side from intraday perspective, I will try. Okay. So then I will try. And pound, we discussed this possibility of over under over here. So that's where I'm going to try to approach the pound. Now from the, thank you, Mer, thank you very much for that kind words, thanks. Now from dollar negative perspective, I may look for this dollar yen, especially that we have something like this, right, with intraday, the one we hit earlier today especially after the very dovish comment from one of the Bank of Japan member, right? So actually he pushed dollar yen higher over the course of the Tokyo session earlier today. All right, so we are waiting 3.5 minutes. So let's wait and see if we are going to have any kind of the move, any kind of the reaction when we are talking about the FX. Then after the announcement, 10 minutes later, we are going to have a break, and during the second part we are going to check what is going on with indices as well, if there is no move on the FX side. Okay, so we are waiting for GDP. Less than 30 seconds. Just a reminder, what we discussed this morning, Mr. President Trump is going to meet Mr. Xi on Saturday around 3:30 British Summer Time, and Mr. Putin around 6 p.m. British Summer Time. So late Saturday, probably we are going to already know Sunday opening levels, most probably. Okay. So what we have with this final reading, 3.1 estimation 3.2, but I've seen 3.1. I've seen the estimation 3.1. So yeah, it's not disappointing, it's as expected. So now the question is, with all this pressure on Mr. Powell, maybe there was some expectations we are going to see the weaker number, right? Let's say below 3. It didn't happen. And the bulls initial reaction on dollar yen, the bulls love it, but right now within the second it might be under strong pressure, right? And we are talking about 107.89 to 85. So they have to hold this long lower shadow, otherwise we know what's going to happen. Euro dollar trying to hold weekly open. So the bulls were able to get back above the weekly open and trying to hold right now. To be honest with you, nothing extraordinary, no fireworks. A little bit of the channel and very sleepy market. That's correct, Mer. That's correct. Some may see the possible head and shoulder here on pound, on 1 minute pound, right? I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. Oh, pretty sure, maybe it's too big word. But I think that's what we are going to see. And maybe only after this we might see this type of the price act. That's what I would like to see. To trap the sellers here. Invite buyers. Just a friendly reminder, at 4 p.m. CET we do have pending home sales, and towards the end of the New York session we've got US bank stress test results. Tomorrow we have final GDP out of the UK. We have flash estimate for the whole European CPI. We do have Canadian GDP. We do have PCE price index out of the US, personal spending, personal income, and Chicago PMI. But guys, you know what? Tomorrow, rumors and leaks from G20 might be the case. At least that's how I see the things. Very sleepy market right now. During the second part of our meeting, we are going to check where we have the options, option expiration, if there is something that we might see it work like a magnet, right? If it's a distance 20-30 pips, there might be some kind of the price action. What about Nasdaq? Also nothing extraordinary. So dollar yen is trying to hold this lower shadow. Q is still trying higher. And we discussed the range here yesterday, right? So we are fighting with the stops over here. That's what we discussed this morning, right? We started with indices, with oil and with gold, right? Because yeah, that's how the FX market looks like for now. No special move, so we decided this morning to start different way. Not even 10 pips move, that's correct. Looks like they are going to wait for US cash open and they are going to wait for option expiration here on the FX market. So let's have a look what we have in terms of in case of the option expiration. One moment, let me check if I can find something. In the meantime, it's worth to mention that the initial jobless claims were weaker 2027 versus 2020. Just one thing. And US GDP, the deflator 0.6, estimation 0.8. PCE prices 1.2, estimation 1. That's what helped dollar. Probably. But why I have this PC price index tomorrow? Personal consumption 0.9, estimation 1.3. But it was supposed to be, yeah, should be. I don't know. Looks like I missed something. Anyway, from the dollar perspective, it's not bad. It's not bad numbers, right? And we can see that euro dollar is going back under weekly open. It's not bad number. And remember where we are from the dollar index perspective, what we discussed a few minutes ago based on this very high time frame, 3-month high. So more to come. I can't see anything from in regards to the option market yet. So we will get back into that during the second part of our meeting. So looks like we might finally have some fireworks. Looks like closer we are getting towards the end of the hour, the bigger the fireworks might be. Some volatility possible. We are testing Monday low right now. Well, we'll see. So charts are open, right? Charts are open. And we do have a first break today. So bar is open. Coffee, tea, water. Enjoy the break.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Welcome back. Second and last part of our today's meeting. We are going to check what is going on with dollar, as well as we are going to check what might happen with US indices around the US cash open, right? Just a reminder, we got good, or maybe different words. The US data wasn't bad, right? If someone expected that based on this huge pressure the White House is trying to put on the Powell, right, that might be we are going to get some weaker numbers, but wasn't bad. Now let's have a look. Compared to yesterday, there was a few nice levels yesterday covered by the options market. Let's have a look what we have today. It's so hot here, and I'm trying to look for some kind of a little bit of the wind, and probably you might hear the wind around here, so sorry about that. Sorry about a little bit of the noise here. Anyway, 108, it's a 1.2 billion on the dollar yen, and we are trading 86. Right after the data, 96 was retested, so looks like the level, the zone is well defended. What we have on euro dollar? On euro dollar, taking into consideration that we are trading 1365, so we have 1390, 2 billion. So the level we are looking for as a sell opportunity, then 1340, 1350, a little bit over billion, 1330, 1.2, 13 level. Jeez, if I'm not, one more time, guys, because it looks like I missed something. No, okay, it's 1 billion as well. I thought that I see 10 billions. No, it's a 1 billion at 113. So right now looks like on euro dollar we are trapped between 50 and the figure, 14 figure, 1350, 14 figure. Euro dollar, again, just because of what we had on a higher time frame, right? Some kind of the maybe finishing the business, maybe swing high creation, stuff like this. That's what we discussed also during the educational webinar last Tuesday, right? That's what I'm waiting for, but from the higher time frame, right? So I have to be patient. But what I like on a smaller time frame here on the hourly, right, is this move to the downside, this move to the downside, and the current move we are trying again to break Monday low. Usually I'm not using fib, but just to show you something. So the first, after the first move initial to the downside, the bounce was 61.8, and what's the current one? 78. So it was a little bit bigger. I wonder if we are going to fall under own weight. I like this type of the setups. Especially if you remember, especially that we have some space, right? There is a space based on what we have here, right? We have here, yeah, over under, and we discussed that okay, we have blue, we have green zone from daily, right? But inside that green, we are looking for a little bit better options to try to attempt the longs, and we have something closer to 1340. But in case we are going to break this low, so bulls are waiting around 1340 and lower, right? Bears will try to push base right now on what we have. They will try to push and hit at least the stops, right? Under today's low, yesterday low, that's what we've seen 2 days before. So at least market may want to look for these stops, but based on what I see here, it looks very interesting. I'm very curious where we are going to be around the London fixing. Pound, still see the chance for that rally we discussed during the first part. Dollar yen, bulls were not able to break, but most probably because of the options market. So here, what we have here, I've mentioned before that I don't like this trend line here. It's not exactly what I would look for, more or less, let's say. It looks like we are almost ready to break through this one. Anyway, what we have, because of this run to the upside, the last run to the upside, which started 2 days ago with Bullard and Powell, right? So from the bulls perspective, there is a tiny demand zone over here. That's what we're trying to hold right now. So we had a drop, base, attempt to rally. The only problem I have with this zone, with this yellow possible demand zone, the only problem I have here is that the high we hit during the Tokyo session, to be honest with you, we didn't hit the stops to the left. That's what scared me a bit from the long side perspective. So no, I don't like this. I don't like this demand. Eventually, what do we have here? The rest was already consumed. So, in case of the sell-off, it might be down towards the low over here. $12 pips. Jesus. Pounds, 15-minute charts after New York Open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. 18 pips. So they fall asleep again. In case of gold, we had attempt to consolidate yesterday after the break to the downside from the intraday perspective. There was a little bit of the rally towards the end of the New York with the pullback. So right now, hour ago after US data, we saw the intraday attempt to break down, right? What we have right now is a retest, and I see the possibility we might retest 1395, 1390, and that's where I would expect some kind of the bullish activity. But overall, from higher time frame, that's what is important. That's what we discussed yesterday, today, is where we are from the weekly. We hit almost supply, so the current profit taking pullback is nothing unusual, especially from the perspective where we closed yesterday. So we just hit Tuesday low during the Tokyo session, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see even lower levels. So from intraday perspective, the first possible demand is closer to 1395, 1390, but from higher time frame, the real demand is around 1370, right? And euro pound is weakening. That's quite surprise. Usually euro pound trying higher around the end of the month, and it's UK dividend related, where the European companies are getting the dividend from the British companies in pound, and they selling pound and transferring euro back. Attempt to create the swing high over here. Looks like it's all about yesterday low, which is tested right now. And what we seen yesterday around the low, it was retest of the Tuesday open, right? Then on Tuesday we tested Monday open, so weekly open. So in case of the break here and the swing high creation, probably the stops under the Tuesday low and weekly open, that's gonna be the target here. Of course, from the risk reward perspective, I wouldn't say it's a great setup right now. So let's have a look what we have from, oh, that might be nice. But actually, this one was immediately consumed. This one was immediately consumed. Wow, let's switch lower. Just a reminder, during the morning session, I've been quoting what Boris Johnson said, that the chances of the no deal Brexit are 1 million to 1. Well, so on the 15-minute chart, what we're trying to hold, we're trying to hold this Asian weakness we've seen over here, right? Weakness. Then there was move back, a little bit of reaction, boom. So what we are doing right now, we are trying to hold this level, right? So there was some stop hand, and we're trying to, it might be that we might try to create on this 15-minute chart swing low, right? So there might be attempt to go higher towards the option expiration, or at least we are trying to create the swing low just to trying to save, trying to fight for 1350 to hold from the option market's perspective ahead of the New York option expiration, 10 a.m. New York. So next 45 minutes. And again, 1350, 1340, well above billion, and 1330, 1.2. So almost 2.5 billion between 1350, 1340. Actually, that might be interesting. And anyway, have to be honest, slow, like maybe because of the weather here. It's so hot. But market is not so hot. Any majors right now. Okay, we can slowly start to check what is going on the indices. Let's check Europe first. Let's check CAC 40. CAC 40 is trying to recover, and we know where we are, right, from the higher time frame. That's what we discussed this morning, that the bears need to close below 60 and 35. There was an attempt to break lower. We are trying to build the lower shadow, right? Yeah, so that was the stop hand and lower shadow on the hourly, trying to create swing high over here. So that's the one. Now, I don't know if we are going to go much higher, but what happened here is a great example to what we discussed during the educational webinar on Tuesday, when how to use the swing trading, how to try to visualize possible swing low, swing high, especially if we are around possible demand or possible supply. Right now, you see what we discussed this morning: the green, very wide green zone as a demand. Inside the lower 50% of that zone, it's also demand based on the intraday. We hit that intraday demand inside the daily demand. We created lower shadow even more, right? Based on what we discussed on Tuesday. Ideal, like inside the beautiful book, ideal swing low, attempt to create swing low, of course, would be great with this candle to close above 50% of that range. That's why I'm saying it doesn't, but you know, that's the good real life example to what we discussed. Of course, it would be better to have this this candle, right, closed higher above 50%, and this double low, equal low, based on this shadow over here, right? It didn't happen. It might be that we are going to retest top of that range and continue to the downside. So it might be very similar here with euro, right? Low, lower low, low equal to the candle before this low, right? Trying to create swing low on this 15-minute chart, still 9 minutes to left, right? And it's possible demand, it's fighting above Monday low but below weekly open, so it's like, you know, would be careful here from the bull's perspective. And why? I think that we might see dollar crash at some point, but it might be, even if it's going to happen, might be delayed. Why? Because everyone right now, after the what the media created, right? It was like, oh yeah, FOMC, dovish, yeah, 50 basis point cut, no, 3 cuts this year. So everyone somewhere in his mind, in her mind, is trying to imagine, oh yeah, big dollar crash is coming. So in that case, I think it's gonna be delayed because everyone is trying to sell right now. So most probably it's not going to happen that way. I do believe we are going to get an answer tomorrow. Okay, so let's have a look where we are. Let's get back to CAC around. So we're trying to recover on the early, based on where we are from higher time frame perspective, right? We broke something here. It might be just retest, right? Still, I think from the bigger picture, where we are, what happened, very similar to what we discussed with Nasdaq. We might try to hit latest high, but I think that we are working towards more towards over under here, and yeah, once bears are going to be able to push below 30, I think we might be done here with something like this, the whole move. So at least to hit some stops, right, and at least to hit latest weakness. Same what we discussed with Nasdaq. That's the latest weakness over here, and with this size of the move, that could be the case. DAX, looks like DAX likes a bit the weaker euro, because here the DAX looks a little bit better than what we have on the CAC around. We are still, just a reminder, we are still fighting with this supply, with the range created on the 27th of September 2018, and we do have another one just a little bit higher, but it's related to what we have here as, oh no, sorry, that was equal bottom over, no, sorry, calling back. So this one is alone over here, took out this double bottom over here, right? So it's very interesting because what we might have here, that's what I like, right? We might have one top and we might have the second one, but a little bit higher, right? And rejection, that would looks nice on the DAX. Again, I don't want biased anyone. Me personally, I'm a bit bearish when we are talking about the indices, but I do understand what may happen, especially with US indices. So let's switch to the Nasdaq and let's discuss bullish possibilities, because right now, again, I'm bearish here as well. So today I'm going to look for the fade. If we see the rally above yesterday high, right, I may try to fade that move around or above 7,700. But I do understand we might see a little bit higher rally even towards 8,000, right? So we are going to have this third touch, right? So that's what we discussed. Then I want to see them move above the trend line with rejection the same day or next day. But I do understand, based on what we have here, that we might create cup and handle here. So in case of the breakout without the rejection, I see 2 or 3 tests of that line, showing that the breakdown is very close. So inviting few sellers, and I can imagine that we might see much higher levels towards 10,000. We discussed it this morning, and so, but right now, because of where we are and because of some similarity to the previous G20, because of this current global slowdown, etc., etc., a little bit more towards lower levels on indices, right? So what we're gonna do on Nasdaq, again, as usual, we are going to watch and monitor first 5 minutes. So first 5-minute trading range, meaning that we wanna see if we can build the trading plan for at least the first part of the US session. Okay. And the market will be open within the next minute. Pending home sales at 4, just reminder. So we will see first initial reaction, and then we will check what might be targeted first, right? You know, it's not gonna be a huge surprise if we immediately start to the upside because of the possible window dressing. So I'm not gonna be surprised, not at all. I'm well prepared for this. What I wanna see is wide first 5-minute range, like 0.5%. So in that case, we are talking at least about 35-40 points. That's what I would love to see today. So officially, US cash market is open. And if you remember, we had nice setup, short setup yesterday during our live meeting. So if you were listening carefully, congratulations. If you were able to test it on demo. Alright, so the opening cash level is not gonna change. Now the high and the low, they might change. Doesn't look, at least for now, we are going to get wide range during the first 5 minutes. I've been asking for 35, 40 points. We got 7, 8. Still 3.5 minutes to go. In the meantime, I'm going to go through new services to see what we have. C is calling for third meeting between US and North Korea. That's the old news from this morning. But Mr. President Trump right now, he likes tariffs. The good one, Fitch says forecast US GDP growth at 2.4 in 2019 and 1.8 at 2020. Most probably Fitch may face tariffs from the White House. I'm joking. But for sure, President Trump is not gonna like this prediction. Okay, we are getting a little bit wider range, but still that's not what I'm looking for. 11-12 points right now. Okay, so if they gonna to hit pre-market stops, that might be here, but not within 1 or 2 minutes probably. Maybe. Never say never with US indices. It's a free market. It's a free market. So it depends on this free market what Bank of Japan, FOMC and Swiss National Bank will decide. But that's free market, right? $18, it's better, but 40 seconds to go, just 40 seconds. And now rejection, 5 seconds. Poor first 5-minute trading range. That's for sure. Low to high, 18. Half of I've been looking for. Half of what I wish for. So in the first part of the US session might be boring. So if we are going to add that euro dollar within the last 15 minutes is moving by 3 pips. One more time, guys. The last 15 minutes, maybe we can get half an hour. So still it's gonna be shame. More than half an hour, 6 pips trading range on euro dollar. Is pound any better last half an hour? Oh yeah, 16 pips. 16 pips. Not 60, but 16. Holy maloney. The only thing I can see right now here on this 5-minute trading range, yeah, 10 pips range after GDP. The only thing I can see immediately right now is that if we are going to get this first 5 minutes trading range on Nasdaq, right, and we are going to double that range to the upside, meaning we are going to look for these stops from the pre-market. And if we are going to fail here, 7,690, 7,700, based on the chart I'm using here, that might be my short setup, intraday short setup. Because that would be with these stops as well. So that's the only I can see right now on Nasdaq from my perspective. And any upside only if we are going to see the turnaround. We discuss it somewhere here, but that's more than doubling the first 5 minutes, yeah, twice. It also makes sense, right? It also makes sense. But I do prefer short side because of the higher time frame. And because it's because we have two parts today, because we were mostly trying to cover US GDP, so we are not gonna make the break. Let's stay together for a few more minutes. Let's have a look if there is any kind of the action ahead of the option expiration at within next 22 minutes, 21. It's just 15 minutes, so it might not be enough. Still, I'm waiting for 27, above 27.50 on the pound. But it might be because of what we've seen currently, right? Pound is very slow when we are talking about the upside. There is a unfinished business on the 15-minute chart, a little bit below 50, 27.36, 37. And euro is breaking lower. So the range here on euro dollar is a little bit wider right now. But we have to take out 59 to expose 48. We are talking about the distances like 10 pips. Amazing. it's not because of me, it's because of you, how you are interpreting. So it's your job done. Very well done, Mer. It's because of you, not because of me. But thank you for the kind words. It's, if anything I'm talking about is useful for someone, I'm more than happy to hear that. Let's switch to 1 hour on the euro, and we don't have this one here. So it might from the higher, from the 1 hour, it's, you know, this one, second after smaller bounce, and third probably, right? So we can draw the trend line over here, falling trend line. So bulls will, for sure they are going, that's why I think we might see just the stops. So the bulls are still looking for 1340 and bears are looking for this 1, 2, 3 and the fall under own weight, right? I'm calling this fall under own weight. Simply market is, you know, it's so hard to push the prices higher. It also works fine opposite, right? When you have the Riley pullback, small pullback, Riley smaller pullback with equal highs, and then attempt to break higher. But market is so slow today. It's not only today, right? So we are still trying to work with this previous supply, which now should work as a demand, and yeah, they're trying to hold that. But looks like over the course of this week, right? After Monday Riley, Tuesday manipulation, stop count high and move to the downside. Since late Tuesday, since Powell and Bullard, look, since Powell and Bullard, we have blue dotted line and we have Monday low, right? So it works like now, it's a third day today. The high was from the weekly open 20 pips and the low 25 pips. You've got, it looks like the weekly open works like magnet. Don't forget what we discussed based on the 3-month chart on dollar index. We are retesting yearly open, and where we are actually from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's open is 1460, so still some space to, it's closer on the dollar index. And again lower. Jeez. So we took stops based on the cash open with quick reverse. But the setup is not for me on the Nasdaq right now. It has to go, eventually it has to go higher. So more window dressing to come. So trying to summarize, guys, today's meeting. First thing first, if you are good for this week, I would be very careful, very cautious with low exposure because of the possible manipulation towards end of the quarter, first 6 months of the blah blah blah, something we're discussing every day for the last 3 days, right? The special flow related to the end of the quarter. So I would be very, very careful, cautious, trying to chase the market. So waiting for my levels. So in that case, when we are talking about the Nasdaq, I want to see the rally towards today's pre-market high, towards this high from yesterday, right? Before we close lower. So 7,700, these levels, and if I'm gonna to see the rejection, that might be my short setup. With euro dollar, unfortunately, we are in the middle of the road, because I would love to fade rally towards 114, 114.20, and I might try to think about some longs below 1340, right? So we've got 40 pips to the upside, 30 pips to the downside, nothing here, right? From the pound perspective, I'm looking to sell rallies towards 27.55 and higher. From the dollar yen perspective, it looks like I missed that short opportunity, but it was like late New York, very beginning of the European session. I thought that London may want to make higher high and then rejection. No, it hasn't happened here. So 3 majors plus Nasdaq, that's what I'm watching, and it's really because of the late June, it's enough, because if we are going to have liquidity, we are going to have liquidity here, majors and Nasdaq, right? I'm going skip gold, and I'm going to watch where we are towards the end of the day on oil, because I want to see stop count above the trending line. I want to see upper shadow above the trending line and daily close below the trending line, right? So here I have to be patient, and that's it. And that's it. Our next meeting next week. Please subscribe. Please click the ring button, ring the bell, so you are gonna be informed. Over the weekend we will set up next meeting, so we are preparing the plan for the meetings for July. So if you have a subscription, if you click the bell, you are gonna be informed. Okay, that's it from me, guys. Have a great rest of the June. Don't be trapped. Then recharge your battery over the weekend, and I do promise you Forex market will be open on Sunday again. So you know, you don't have to trade tomorrow if you are not gonna to feel comfortable with what you see on the market, because it's a special day tomorrow. All right, so be careful, guys. Have a great weekend and see you next week. All the best. Take care. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.